everybody. Welcome into the Boise State Esports Arena. We have some very special Overwatch 1 action for you here tonight. It's worth noting that this will be the last tournament of Overwatch 1 for NACE. And joining me here tonight, we do have a very special guest that will be revealed here in a moment. We have some of our players in arena as well. Very exciting. We also have some Smash going off to the side. I'm your host, Colby D'Angelo Alloway, and our very special guest is Jenny Daydream Cummins. You might have recognized her from her incredible Mercy play in Esports Tower. But tonight, she's here to celebrate the NACE qualifiers. So, as we're kind of like transitioning from Overwatch 1 into Overwatch 2, can you tell us more about that?
So this is the last tournament that Boise State's team will be playing in Overwatch 1. They're doing like a send-off tournament for NACE and Overwatch 1. Well, not NACE, sorry, Overwatch 1. Into Overwatch 2, it's happening the last 2 days that Overwatch will be live on servers, and it's going to be really fun.
That's awesome. So obviously we're really excited about that in here in Arena. So can you kind of walk us through from the player perspective, because you spend a lot of time with the Boise State team, you have that insider scoop. What are different teams trying to do to come out really strong in this qualifier?
Well, most teams are just playing the meta still. Double shield, it's kind of just how it's going to be for this last tournament in Overwatch 1, but everybody's super excited to get into Overwatch 2 and start playing the new heroes that are coming out.
Great, as they should be. But tonight, we're refocusing back in on NACE Collegiate Overwatch. It is a 6v6, still competitive, best of 3. The maps will be Control, Hybrid, and Escort if it goes to a map 3. And Boise State, we're definitely trying to do things within the first 2, honestly, as we get into this competition here. And to help us do better in these tournaments, we are going to talk about Doc's keys to the game, because those are always important to bring up. And Doc's keys to the game in Overwatch are to understand your comp playstyle, focus on each fight, get good value, get good ult value, and the objective is greater than kills. And Doc's keys to the game are brought to you by Drop-In Gaming. Drop-In Gaming is the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. To begin your competitive gaming journey, sign up at dropingaming.com. So, Daydream, before we get into this game, I do have to ask, because you just have such an intimate knowledge of the game, what is the win condition of the double shield that we expect Boise State to be playing?
So usually it's only viable on a few maps, and sometimes they play ball comp, which is a lot better on some other maps, like Oasis. But for double shield, the win con would probably to play a little slower and get some poke out, get some picks, and hopefully just try and slowly win the fights.
Okay, great. And it looks like we're going to get right into the games with that fantastic advice. So we'll see whether or not this first map against Jamestown will be viable for double shield, or if we'll see Matt Merck pull out the ball like they really love to do to great success. And it looks like we're just going to get dropped straight into the fight here. That is Goblin taking down their back tees. That is Jamestown already down 1. Now down 3, right as I say that. And I think that's a Boise State fight win, even as Matt Merck is the price. So what happened to that fight, and what position does this put Boise State in?
Usually on this map, you want to be the first one to take that white room in there, and Boise State did just that and was able to roll over them.
So as we've pushed all the way up into their spawn really quickly, what's Boise State trying to do here?
They're just trying to take or get some damage in before they push back in. They want to take as much space as possible and get as much on the objective as they can.
And it looks like the fight has definitely begun here. That Reinhardt is going to have to charge out. That is Boise State up 1. Now as Plato goes down, Goblin, Matt Merck are going to get some kills, as well as Kel. They are just going to completely roll over Jamestown for the second fight in a row. Talk me through ult economy a little bit here. Boise State has some coming up.
They are definitely going to want to try and use this Ryan ult here. He built it so quickly that they're just going to use it and get a new one immediately. And with the grab, they can also do some combos here with some other ults coming up, like their.
So as we get right into the fight here, that amplification matrix goes down for Jamestown. Not going to get a ton of value, but Goblin's tire sure is. That is a triple kill, and with 44% and climbing, is there anything Jamestown can do to break this Boise State chokehold?
They can try and get a pretty big Junkrat ult here, since that's kind of the only one they have online, or build their Shatter. I think it would be pretty beneficial for them if they could do that.
So as we're in the setup stage here, Jamestown still kind of poking. That Baptiste keeps going down. Goblins winning the span battle right outside their spawn. This is just a fight. Take it. Boise State is going in. They haven't lost any members so far, holding right outside of Jamestown's spawn. Jamestown doesn't even have the opportunity to build or use the shatter. Now they have it, but that tire still hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, it seems like they're kind of holding the ult a little bit. I think that it's kind of hindering them from
So we definitely need to see some aggressive ults. Right, there it is. There's that ultimate. Hopefully Boise State, they have the amplification matrix down in this fight. That's a Reinhardt down. And the Junkrat ult is not going to be able to get any ultimate value. That is Boise State. 5 now? Jamestown doesn't even have an opportunity to touch the point.
I think if they had taken a little bit earlier, they could have gotten some more value out of it.
So, going into our next map, first let's talk about things Boise State did well.
I think Boise State did a really good job backing up when they were down players, and then I also think that they did a good job separating their ults into different fights and just using them to the best of their abilities.
So now we transition into what do you think Jamestown needs to do to break this dominant Boise State 100-0?
I think they need to start calling more rotations and be a bit more together and aggressive in their fights. They seem a bit passive with their ultimates and their rotations. If they were to go head on into a stand, I think it would catch them off guard.
And what about breaking a spawn hold like that? Do you have any tips for that?
I mean, they were already on the Junkrat. I don't think there was much they could do there.
Oh my gosh, Bagel gets the boop. We always love to see it. Does look like even that Reinhardt is going to get booped up. That is 5 members of Boise State booped off by Bagel. Now, what's really key that Boise State did last fight?
Bagel just got to the point first and was able to get everybody knocked off before they even had a chance to respond through the sim TP.
And what's Boise State doing now?
They are setting up for next fight by just holding bridge here.
Getting a lot of spam and some poke in. We're not quite seeing. It looks like Jamestown is going to engage. Boise State is going to go right into the. No. This is they're kind of committing. No eliminations have been had thus far. Goblin gets eliminated, but Jamestown is still backing up. Boise State gaining ground, even down 1.
Again, here they're just taking more space, waiting for the next fight to go.
Boise State at this point really needs to kind of get out. They're down 2, and they're giving Jamestown the space they need. Jamestown. What does Jamestown need to do to get in this one?
I think their Lucio needs to try and speed them in. They have the man advantage, or they did have the man advantage, and if they would have sped in and kind of got more damage, they would have really taken that fight, given Boise a little bit.
So now that Boise State has set up with 6 members, what are they trying to do outside of Jamestown spawn again?
I think they're looking for their grab and their pull here. Those ones are pretty important for winning team fights.
There it is, just like you were talking about, and Plato is swinging into that. That is Boise State gonna win that team fight with only the grab. They still have the coalescence. How are you looking for Chosen to use that?
I would say probably mid-fight here when this team is getting low. Pop that and get a lot of damage and a lot of healing with that. So
what about the map burn? Oh my gosh, that's not the middle of team fight. That's an initiator from the back line, getting incredible value there with that skill orb onto Jamestown's back teeth. That is another Boise State team wipe. Jamestown has one final fight to try to turn this around. What do they need to do?
I hope they realize that the bar is above them, because the Boise State bar has their ult right now, and if they don't see it, it could spell bad news. Oh,
We didn't see it, but Cassidy sure did. It doesn't look like that Reaper ult is also going to come. Boise State is just kind of wiping the floor with Jamestown right now. Fantastic job done by Boise State. Now again, what do you think Boise State did well?
I think they did well at taking space and backing up when they knew they were down players. I think that that's something they're really good at, is communicating when they are down players and need to regroup or revitalize or replan their engage.
What do you think about the backline Moira engage?
I think it was risky, but it worked out. I think they knew.
Definitely.
I think they knew the skill level of the team they were going against and decided that it was okay.
Definitely, I would say that the Moira play did work out well for them. Now, we're going to be moving into our next map here. Are there any strategies you think maybe Boise State shouldn't be trying to pull out against Jamestown?
I think the backline Moira, I don't think they'll expect it again, but I don't think it'll be a good play again.
Totally understandable. I mean, you get the cheeky plays off once, and then you kind of like leave it for a little bit. What do you think Jamestown needs to do to break the Boise State chokehold right now?
I think they need to initiate more, be more aggressive in their encounters, and be able to get those picks, because as of right now, they're pretty passive, and I think that they should change that up.
And we just got word that Jamestown has chosen Kings Row for map 2. What do you think Boise State's going to be running?
Oh, every team runs Brawl on Kings Row, so they're for sure going to run Brawl, which kind of is bad news for Jamestown because Brawl is a very strong comp of BSU's.
Do you think that maybe the Kings Row pick that kind of played into Boise State's hands a little bit?
Oh, yes, for sure.
Definitely. So,
Hello.
how far do you think this map is going to go? Do you think it's going to go all 3 points? Do you think it's going to stop point 1? Maybe somewhere in between?
I don't know. I hope Jamestown starts being more aggressive and maybe gets a few ticks or even a few points. But BSU's defense and just Brawl in general is really good, so we'll just have to see.
What are the weak points in Boise State's play?
I wouldn't be able to say. I'm biased.
Fantastic. Adrian says, I'm not going to give up my friends like that. How dare you? Jamestown is on attack here. And it does look like we do have that Boise State Diva. It is clear on the Diva this time, and Goblin on the May. Jamestown is currently just trying to approach, though they do have the Widowmaker. And it looks like they're in. Boise State is kind of like letting them come in. The May walls come out for both teams. And the fight now truly has begun. Both May walls have split teams. Back teased, first one down. Never what you want to see in main tank right after that. That is a fight lost for Jamestown. Walk us through how Boise State did that.
They walled off Jamestown and split their team, and that created an opportunity for Boise State to just walk in and kill their healer, which really affected them.
That's an emote right there coming from Cassidy. Sneaky Shatter's going to start the fight before anybody is ready for it. That is, they're not walled off. Reinhardt Plato has managed to get back in with their team. Fantastic rotations by Boise State. Jamestown has now been limited to the choke. They're through. They're looking for their way in right now. Clear. Getting some Diva poke in. That's a Reinhardt walled off. That is a Reinhardt down. May immediately goes down with him as well. That's clear on your on your Baptiste and your backline. Excuse me. That is another fight wipe for Jamestown.
Yep. Again, with the May wall, it's just super important that you get yours off either first or have a better one. And Boise State did just that and got their wall off. Just the Reinhardt, and they were able to collapse on it.
Hey there.
And it looks like there is a Reaper swap. What do you think that'll do for Jamestown?
I think it'll provide a lot more upfront damage that they're hoping for. And allow them to be a bit more aggressive. But I don't know.
So as we get the May freeze down, that is another Jamestown wipe. Maybe the Shatter was an overcommit. Honestly, not sure if we needed it. What do you think?
Yeah, it was a very overcommit ult, I think. I mean, everybody was already in the freeze, so maybe having that lost ultimate will give Jamestown an advantage this fight.
What does Jamestown want to use this fight?
Definitely want to intro with their window.
Oh, that's a Boise State window. And it looks like Jamestown is just going to wisely back up without anybody in it. Nope, I spoke too soon. That Lucio's going to get eliminated. Maywall comes out, doesn't actually manage to split anybody, but Boise State is not backing up. They're taking that space. You saw the Shatter. We heard the attempt. Did not work out in their favor. Now, with 67 to grab, do you think the Amp Matrix do you think the Amp Matrix is still a good window, or do you think maybe Blizzard would be the bigger one to use for Jamestown?
I think definitely windowing first is still the move, as they want to be aggressive when they get in, so they can at least get into the fight, because right now they're kind of being held and choked and spawn. So if they can window in and get a pick, that would be big for them.
There's the window, just like you were talking about. No picks withstanding right now. Boise State has managed not to peek that. We see a Deadeye come from the high ground into the enemy team. Shatter is going to whip on the side of Boise State. Deadeye's going to get back east, though. That is your main healer now. Now down 3.
60 seconds.
Down so many so quickly that we couldn't even count them all. And that grab, 92. It looks like we maybe might see a Jamestown grab before final fight.
Yeah, it looks like the Reinhardt is trying for the cheeky play again to go behind. No shatter this time. Oh,
No, he's just going to pin the Lucio. And that definitely takes some utility away from Jamestown. This fight has started much sooner than I think Jamestown was ready for. As we see, both supports are now down before that grab can even get off. There is 30 seconds for Jamestown to turn this around. What do they got to do?
they have to use their ults. They've been holding them for too long, especially that Mei, and they just need to come in guns blazing.
Guns blazing with a Lucio down. They don't have that speed boost. Now even them being able to touch the point is in question, and they really need to touch this point. They cannot let Boise State have this match. If Boise State goes further in the qualifiers, and Jamestown is out of this series. As we see here, we see Boise State's just going to clean win that fight. We saw the Mei freeze, but not the grab that took all game to charge.
Score.
So we could harp on ultimates a little bit more. Is there anything else that you'd like to highlight, though?
I think that Jamestown just definitely held their ults too long. It looked like they weren't being aggressive, like I said, but even with their ultimates, it seemed like they were just holding them the whole game. I think that was the first Mei ult that I saw that round, or from Jamestown, I should say. So just definitely using those ults more would get them more and more advantage into the fight.
Do you think there's anything that they can do on defense to stop Boise State?
I don't know. I hope their Mei has some better walls this round and is able to wall off their Rhine, because
Ready
Hammer
for
can
battle.
be a little inspirational sometimes. So if he catches that, or if their Mei catches that and gets Matt Merck in a position that he can't get out of, it could be big for Jamestown.
So we're looking to capitalize on Boise State's
Attackers
over-aggression.
incoming in 30
Fantastic job here, especially since Boise State is on attack. So Jamestown has a lot of opportunities to control the way people come in. Boise State, though, we're looking to take this first fight. How do we do that?
Definitely looking for those aggressive walls and just looking to run in on top of them. It looks like they aren't playing Brawl though, so it might spell trouble for BSU if they don't expect that.
Double sniper we do have there. Boise State, what does this comp tell you?
Tells me that they are looking for a beginning pick, and before their Rhine gets up there, they're going to swap and change back to Brawl. They're hoping that their DPS can get a little pick, but it looks like their Widow is already swapped off.
Good. Saw that they didn't like that double shield in the corner there. Hanzo's much better for spamming that, as well as looks like they're maybe gonna try to sim TV. No. Boise State split right now. What do you think about that before we get into the fight?
I think that they're trying to go for a longer rotate and a split to be able to catch some of these smoke guards and be able to kill that Bastion. That seems to be the top priority right now.
And it looks like they're on the map. That is Mercy down. There is no res. There is no sim teleport as well for Jamestown. They are slowly being undone here by Boise State. The remaining members just having to run away. Baptiste cannot do that. That might just be first fight. Only one. So what could Jamestown have done?
I think that their rotations were pretty good that round. Trying to stay away from the Brawl is kind of usually what you want to do in this situation when you have a Bastion. But sadly, they were not able to rotate fast enough and ended up being cornered and had to rotate either onto the point or die. So I think that kind of caught them in a bad situation.
So what is the way to create distance between a Brawl comp like that?
So usually
NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Protecting your customer journey from fraud is critical. According to industry analysts, Count's AI-driven platform is the leading solution. From account login to digital payments, Count is recognized for both its customer impact and technology excellence. Learn more at count.com.
Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Hello and welcome back into the Boise State Esports Arena. I mean, it's been so long. It's just been barely a commercial break there. We are still here tonight with our special guest and doing NACE, the last collegiate Overwatch 1 tournament. So we are kind of in the last nostalgic hurrah for Overwatch 1 as far as college goes before we get into Overwatch 2, which everybody is super hyped for. I'm still your host, Colby D'Angelo Alloway, and still joining me is our special guest, Jenny Daydream Cummins. And as we get into this next map, we saw some really strong Boise State play, right? So what can enemy teams do to kind of capitalize on the weaknesses of Boise State?
I think Boise State is a very aggressive team, and they know what they want, so they go for it. And I think that that kind of becomes their downfall against teams that understand how to play the game a little bit more. And I think that was Jamestown's downfall. I can't speak, sorry. Their downfall last map because they were not able to capitalize on the Rhine going in a lot or the ultimates that were being put out all the time by Boise State.
So we have very specifically what enemy teams can do to have success against Boise State, but more generally, we do have Doc's keys to the game, which are helpful as much to Boise State as they are to enemy teams, and we will be going up against Mississippi State next. And Doc's keys to the game in Overwatch are to understand your comp/play style, focus on each fight, get good ult value, and the objective is greater than kills. And Doc's keys to the game are brought to us by Drop-In Gaming. Drop-In Gaming is the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you are new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. To begin your competitive gaming journey, sign up at dropingaming.com. It felt like with Boise State last map, there was at least a wee bit of chasing kills more than the objective there. So what would be the strategy when you know the enemy team is looking to get into your backline?
When the enemy team is looking to get into your backline, you definitely want to keep your supports with you. They are the most at risk when you have people in your backline, and you want to keep your supports up so you can keep your tanks up.
And as a support, running away from people that desperately would like to get that elimination on you, do you have any tips before we get into this next match against Mississippi State?
I would say definitely find hard cover. Hard cover is your best friend. Your tank has a shield, but you should not trust your tank with that shield, especially when a diva is coming with her bomb. Because let's be real, your tank is not gonna save you every single time.
100%. Supports need to peel for themselves. That's something that gets you a lot of flack sometimes when you're talking to support players. Like, supports need to peel for themselves sometimes. What's the strategy on Lijiang as we see these teleporters come out?
The strategy is to teleport onto point and to get the first kill or get as many kills as you can.
Looks like Boise State is trying to do that with Mississippi State kind of like fishbowled into the point. That is Cassidy going to go down to Goblin on the Doomfist. Fantastic job. We see Boise State getting, we're up 2 and we're chasing, now up 3. Bagel winning the battles of the Lucios there. That is Boise State. I think they're just going to win that first point without losing any members. What position does this put Boise State in?
As Brawl Comp on this point, you kind of want to hold the corner to get your Reinhardt ult, especially because it can be a huge fight win if you already have your ult going into the second fight. And since Boise State is only 67, they're going to have to use it in another fight to build up those ults.
It does look like the amplification matrix is up though, which gets Boise State a little bit of space kind of around that corner. And it looks like Goblin's going to get picked by their Baptiste. Oh no, that is Boise State down 1. We see them rotate back just a little bit, rotate all the way around a point. This is Hell doing the contest. Matt Burke is down. That is Boise State down 2. Mississippi State really putting Boise State in an uncomfortable place as we are now down 4. And Hell is trying to stall on the point. And Boise State is actually going to give that up at 40%. Mississippi State, what do they need to do to keep holding?
That's the aggression that I was looking for last match, and I think that really served them well this fight going in to be aggressive. It kind of took Boise State off guard, and I think that keeping up with that and keeping up with Boise State's aggression will really help.
Ooh, there's a chatter that you were talking about. Is a wonderful fight initiator. Is not actually going to get the eliminations on anybody, but Mississippi State is being forced to back to the point. We see that Doomfist ult coming out. Looking for some eliminations that really wants that Baptiste. Will be unable to get them, but is going to get the Reinhardt instead. Pretty good trade and send the Baptiste off the map. Maxwell and Goblin, no Boise State DPS, but Matt Burke and Bagel are more than enough damage for Boise State right now. What was the best thing Boise State did that fight?
I think definitely going in with a Shatter or with any ult is a really good idea because it not only gives you an advantage in the first few seconds of the fight, but it also is kind of a confidence booster for your team to hear a hammer down and be like, oh, we're going, let's go.
We're going in here. Mississippi State. Amplification Matrix coming out. Ultimates to initiate fights, just like you were talking about as we go in here. Mississippi State has just been careened into that corner. They're going to sustain through the Amplification Matrix, through their Baptiste. Thank your Baptistes there. That is Mississippi State. Now, no DPS. Boise State can now be much more aggressive. And as we see, they're going in. They're on that corner. The rest of Mississippi State is down. Now, we're in Final Fight territory for Mississippi State. What do they need to do?
They need to be aggressive again. They have a few ults up, like their Window and their High Noon. Both are kind of zoning / initiation ults, and I think either one or both is very good to use this fight.
But it actually is Boise State that is going to ult first and then back out of there for the Amplification Matrix. Certain members being kept weak. That is a sound barrier just to give Boise State that aggression. They need that Cassidy weak. I want somebody to get him. And it looks like they're going to get that Reinhardt and that Cassidy immediately after that. Mississippi State, it's looking like they're going to lose first map. What do they need to do to kind of come back on Heimer?
I think they need to keep up their aggression. It looks like they were being a little bit too passive those last few fights. And I think that coming in and maybe putting their Window a bit farther would have been a lot more beneficial because Boise State was able to hide from it super well, not being in that corner.
So, better ultimate plays. They have the fundamentals though. They're using the ultimates.
Yes.
Now just the issue is getting them to use to more value. And speaking of value, we did see a Junkrat, and it looks like for the side of Boise State and for the side of Mississippi State, what value is Junkrat looking to get on this point?
He is just there to spam out chunks. He wants to get the most damage possible because in this map you want to get to that white room first and be able to get kills instead of your turrets. And having a Junkrat is just that extra cherry on top to get that damage.
And it looks like Mississippi State does not have the white room. Boise State has control of that. Their Reinhardt is trying to go in there, but it's going to split from the rest of their team. Goblin winning the battle with Junkrats. That's a lot of damage in Boise State's favor here. It looks like as members of Mississippi State just keep dropping, Boise State's going to be able to take first fight. What's the biggest thing they need to do to set up?
I think they definitely need to not stand in the middle of the hallway right there. But I think being able to take angles here and just put up those, put up the teleporter and the turrets is a great opportunity for them to get be able to go down and do that.
That Reinhardt was just melted going in there. And it looks like even though Boise State is only up 2, they're going to hard push their spawn because they have a little bit. Nope, they're going to back up. They see those members have respawned. What does Mississippi State need to do to break this Boise State hold?
Maybe taking another angle or taking another rotation would benefit them here. Is farther back. They could have taken another rotation.
Ooh, and then it looks like 3 members at least are not going to be able to get to the point of this map. They're going to get taken out by that junk tire, and then we go in with Matt Merck and Goblin cleaning up everybody else. Somebody get Goblin a medal for that fight. That was pretty hard carry for the individual fight. Where are we going now?
Again, we're setting up those turrets and just waiting for this team to walk through bait because they haven't shown any other interest.
And it does look like, speaking of showing interest other places, Matt Merck is going to come at you from behind. Mississippi State looks like they weren't ready for it. Matt Merck is going to go down, and Kell is forced to get out of there. Boise State backing up. That's Boise State down 2. What does Mississippi State need to do to win this fight?
I think they just need to keep being aggressive. Boise State is down a few, so if they push it, they can make it.
They weren't ready for the teleported bomb. Fantastic job by Kell and Maxwell there, and that has flipped the fight now in Boise State's favor as we are 79% and climbing. The fight has been taken all the way to point. Boot Scootin is going to scoot all the way back to spawn there, as well as Sigma following him immediately after. Boise State, Mississippi thought they had them on the back foot there, and then a well-placed Diva Bomb from Kell took that out, and now that is Boise State going to go, it looks like 100-0. Fight is still going on. Bagel seems like they're the price. Somebody's back there trying to cap. It is a ball. No, 99-1. They got one. It is not 100-0. It is at least 100-6 and climbing, and they still have some stall. Nope, that looks like that's the end. They got a cheeky 7% there, but I don't know if they'll be able to get more. What do you think?
I think that if they keep trickling in like this, they're not going to be able to get a good team fight.
It looks like really fast is not going to be part of that regroup there. It's going to take them an extra, like, 10 seconds for everybody to respawn and get back in there. Is there any tips that you would give Mississippi going in to hybrid?
Take different angles, take different pathing. You went main the whole time, and I think that was kind of their downfall because BSU expected it every single time.
Do you think that they need to maybe adjust anything else in their strategy other than looking for alternative angles?
Maybe playing some different picks would be fun. I know they could play some different comps on a hybrid map. That would make it a lot easier for them to get up into BSU's face or even take off angles like I mentioned.
So what are the comps for off angles versus what are the comps for trying to get in their face?
So Brawl is usually the comp that you want to use to get into somebody's face or, you know, be very aggressive in a fight. But for taking off angles and being a little bit more timely in your pathing, I think poke or dive is a lot better, like double shield, because tanks like Orisa and Sigma are able to sit in 2 different places and have 2 different shields and still be able to do damage, and that makes Boise State have to choose between what one they want to go for.
Definitely. Do you think we'll see Kings Row again, just as we get into this next hybrid
Oh,
back?
for sure.
For sure, you think it's going to be Kings Row again? So it looks like we're ready to get straight into that next matchup, so we'll see if our map prediction was correct or not. Or maybe we're not ready to get straight into the map. We're seeing a little bit of hesitation there. So let's just play with the hypothetical here and assume that it is Kings Row, just because that's what we saw last time. Do you think that trying to beat Boise in the brawl is the strategy that they should be going for?
I think it is a good shot to try. I think it's something that they should go for because Kings Row does favor brawl comps quite heavily.
It is Kings Row. Would you look at that? And it does look like we're seeing some brawl versus brawl. Mississippi State, that's a definite of brawl comp there. We see both Mays. Boise State May wall is not going to get a ton of value coming out there, but Mississippi State still on the approach. Neither side has been able to find any picks, but MO and the enemy wall going out. Huge. Matt Merck is going to get Plato's going to go down first. Boot Scoot is going to go down immediately after, though, which takes away a lot of Mississippi's push potential as we can see them rotating back. Matt Merck not going to push too far in there. Now with that wall, though, time to go in. Hunter's just going to wall climb right over that, and we've reset. What did Mississippi State have success with that fight? Because they've already gotten further.
Yes, I definitely think they have success with their main walls. Like I said, being more aggressive with those can catch Boise State off guard.
And it does look like Boise State was not caught off guard the second time, but Boot Scoop is going to go down as well as Baragis on that Lucio. At this point, we're cleaning up. Mississippi State has kind of built some ultimates, so is Boise State. Which ones are going to be important? Oh, well, yeah, I mean, they're just going to start that fight right outside of their spawn. Sorry, I was not ready for that. Boot Scootin' is having a really bad time. But more than hammer down, walk us through what other important ultimates there are.
Definitely their mid-ult is very important here to stop Mississippi State in their tracks. If they want to get a good defense here, they want to use the May wall behind the other team and put the ultimate in front of them, so when they try and back out of it, there's a wall in their face.
And it looks like they're trying to set up to do that. Mississippi State cannot set up for the same freeze wall strategy. And it looks like they will just use that wall to wall off the high noon, but the Deadeye is still going to get Blizzard, which is their Baptiste. Now Boise State is going in. And actually, Plano's going to go down as well, went in a little bit too far, so they are the price there. What can Mississippi State do to take advantage of Boise not having a castle?
I think definitely their Hanzo could get some value here. He could peek out a little bit more because they don't have as much damage coming their way. And being able to do that would be able to maybe land them a hit on
Looks like they're just going to send in the Diva Bomb, and there is a freeze to manage that, as well as a Sound Barrier. This is just a battle of the ultimates right now. Boise State is winning with that Baptiste and main tank going down for Mississippi State. Boise State at this point is just cleaning up. What shot does Mississippi, what are we really looking for in next fight in terms of ultimates from Mississippi?
I think having a little bit more coordination on when they're using their ult would be good for them. Maybe saying, I'm going to go in with this window this fight would help them a lot and be able to get the
Look at that Widowmaker from up top. Members of Boise State will have to dodge that. What does the Widow swap will do for them?
I'm thinking that Widow Swap will hopefully get them a pick on a healer or at least some damage so that they're able to collapse on it.
Since we have the riveting Lucio 1v1 in the corner, the Bagel is winning. Not so 1v1 anymore. Pandakai gonna get that elimination, but Bruin just sacredly big bomb. Clear getting the big Diva bombs that we're used to Kel getting, but Clear popping off over here on the Diva.
I think Boise State is showing a lot of teamwork and team coordination here with that Shadow Bomb. And it looks like that will push them into this classified territory and hope only for a one-tick win.
I definitely do need to say that Widowmaker is peeking them a lot more than they necessarily need to. Like, you see those shots getting missed on Bagel just coming and coming and coming. Nobody's really hiding from the Widow, even as this fight continues. He's going to go down to the enemy Baptiste. And that might give Mississippi State the in that they need. No, they're going to lose their own Baptiste and that fight. One tick King's Row again. Do you have any new advice for Mississippi State going in, needing to defend with only a tick?
I think swapping off the Hanzo would be good here because Hanzo is okay on
initiating
because you want that
match.
poke damage to hopefully catch somebody off guard. However, on the defense here, Hanzo can be kind of a burden because he would not be playing with the brawl. He would be playing back, which would allow your team to be, or allow Boise State to already be up one in the fight and just run on top of them.
And what if they're not running a brawl with the Hanzo? Would Hanzo still be a bad pick?
It just depends on what they're running and how they do it. I think that running anything but brawl here is already risky, so we'll just have to see.
Ready for battle.
Judge whether it's good or not.
Definitely. Do you think that we might see, it looks like we're not seeing the return of the Bastion. Would you say that that's a good thing?
I would say that's a good thing. Bastion is a very fun pick and a
Attackers
very good
incoming
hero
in
here.
30 seconds.
And you need to do massive amounts of damage, but when you are pushed against a wall or moving a lot as Bastion, he doesn't get as much as you would hope he would.
Definitely. And what's Boise State's in to win this first fight?
Just being aggressive and those May walls.
Good Maywall. Who are we looking to wall off in the Maywall?
One of their tanks or one of their supports, but usually supports are the back ones if you're going
Five, four,
Definitely. So the Reinhardt. So
one.
Boise State's looking for boot scoot. We're
yes.
scooting onto the boot.
Yes.
And it looks like Bagel's going to kind of give us a little bit of an in there. Wall riding. Super far to the left. Peeking the castle, but not taking a ton of damage. Plato on that Ash. That's a surprise pick. We weren't expecting to see that there. Not getting picked so far. Actually just going to get picked themselves by Vex. Boise State down one as the fight has taken all the way to point. Matt Mert, there's that wall just like you were talking about onto Matt Mert. It looks like they will be able to live for now and get the support and heal that they need. Boise State now has even numbers in this fight. Going to go right in, but immediately lose Matt Mert for that May. We'll find out whether or not that's a worthwhile trade. It looks like it is so far because Plato has been able to get that pick, and it looks like Clear's going to clean that up. Is there anything Mississippi State can do?
No, I don't think there is. It's over.
And Bagel knows it there. I was wondering if maybe there was like a last-minute regroup that could happen there, and nope, when you're only dealing with a tick, there is no last-minute regroup to be had. So we're seeing a lot of, in terms of the aggression that you advised for people to have, Mississippi State has definitely improved.
Yes.
From Jamestown, right? So is there anything other than aggression that you think these teams need to bring to Boise State if they want to even take a map off?
I think a lot of it has to do with the team calls and what they're calling out and what they are planning to do in their next fight. And usually Boise State is calling their ults very quickly or calling what the enemy team is going to do very quickly. And so when they're playing really hard, really fast, other teams have to kind of adjust, and sometimes they get lost in translation when they're trying to make a new call.
Do you have any final thoughts before we go to break?
No.
Nope. That's all I
just
wanted
it.
to say. Fantastic job. So we're going to go right to a break, but stick around because we still have more NACE qualifiers here for you tonight.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Protecting your customer journey from fraud is critical. According to industry analysts, Count's AI-driven platform is the leading solution. From account login to digital payments, Count is recognized for both its customer impact and technology excellence. Learn more at count.com.
welcome back into the Boise State Esports Arena. We just needed a short break there to get right back into all the NACE action. Like we've said before, just in case you're just joining us, this is the last Overwatch 1 tournament for college, so it is a really very big deal. Tonight we're doing qualifiers. The next team that Boise State will be going up against is Oklahoma. That is Miss Blueberry. She is our special guest, but our even more special guest is Jenny Daydream Cummins, and I'm your host, Colby D'Angelo Alloway, here to facilitate these lovely ladies tonight for the NACE tournament. So we've talked a little bit about what teams need to do to kind of bring down Boise State. But now I'm going to ask you a tough question and ask you what Boise State needs to clean up.
Boise State can definitely clean up their comms. Being in them sometimes, it is hard to understand what they are saying. But I will say when they need to get together and be a team, they do that very well and can be very serious.
And so we've gotten some special information that we will be going to Nepal first as our control, which is different than Lijiang. So now you got to walk us through different strategies, Daydream.
A lot of teams like to go for the ball comp here because it is fast-paced, it is fun, and it is easy to get picks. So hopefully we'll be seeing some of that.
Now, do you think anybody's going to go off the edge on the ball? Because
I
it's
hope
always
not.
You hope not. But you wouldn't necessarily put it past anybody. And it does, as we do see balls on both sides. Matt Burke and Clint will be looking for self-destructs. Bagel is going to go down. Boise State down 1, actually down 2. First fight. For the first time, it looks like Oklahoma has actually put us on our back foot here, winning first fight. Wow, this is a really unique position. Tell me about it.
I think with ball comp, you're able to be a lot more aggressive than you are with brawl, because with ball comp, everything is a lot more fast, and when you're playing with a Reinhardt, it's kind of hard to get him places, so being able to be more aggressive against VSU, they're going to have to adjust to that this fight and be able to be just as fast.
So, Boise State, do you think there's any swaps they need to make to their comp?
I don't think so as of yet.
Would you look at that? Wow, Boise State's up 3. Looks like the comp is working perfectly well. Definitely can play quickly. It does look like Oklahoma's going to stall it all the way out to 28. Boise State still, what do we need to do to make up losing first fight?
I think definitely taking these off angles that they're taking is a huge up for Boise State and can help them a lot in this next fight. Being able to displace their team or make their team confused is a great way to be able to win fights.
Definitely want to highlight how everybody in Boise State is playing split, but where they can help each other. Very important. Rotation here. We see Kel over there. Matt Merck flying in to assist there. We're almost going to get the elimination on that Sigma there as the fight engages. Maxwell is now fully in the fight. All 6 members of Boise State can engage somehow onto somebody. It looks like there has been no eliminations coming out just yet. And it looks like Oklahoma is going to use their first ultimate, and Boise State's going to get their first elimination. That is Boise State up 1, now up 2. Both tanks are down. No, now we're even because of a huge Tracer pulse bump. We're not even anymore. We're up 2 again. Would you look at that? And now Boise State has put in the position of defending again against Oklahoma respawns.
I think that here they can still use that split tactic and be able to take them off guard. I think this other team still doesn't realize that they are playing so split. If they do realize that here soon, they'll be able to capitalize on that.
And how do you capitalize on that really quick before we get into this fight?
Just going super fast and being able to maybe stun their ball or stun one of their corners is a huge win against this comp.
So we're looking at the Cassidy and we're looking at the Brig. Those are our big stunners. And we're looking for Matt Hurst maybe to go down first. Oklahoma wants to win this fight. And it looks like Oklahoma's not quite committing to the fight yet. Doing a little bit of both. Why are they doing that?
I think that they are unsure of where to go with this. Like they haven't planned out this fight quite yet, and they want to do maybe something with their ultimates that they just and
there's the ultimates, just like you were talking about. They've decided what they want to do. Fantastic foresight. We see Boogly go down, though, which is pretty bad for Oklahoma's fight here, especially in overtime, being down 1. Now down 2 with Boise State having ultimates on the board. That rally armor is being huge for Boise State. Oklahoma is not able to find any other eliminations here, or even to stall for very long. But obviously something went right, because they won first fight. What is Oklahoma looking to replicate?
I think they need to replicate the aggression and the surprise attack, kind of, that they were able to pull off in that first fight. Boise State didn't seem like they were expecting something so fast and so sudden, and I think that that really went into Oklahoma's favor in doing things that are unexpected, just like the Dogs win fights.
Definitely. So what are they specific, what does this map let them do in terms of unexpected?
There's a lot of different flanking angles and different corridors that you can go through as DPS, and I'm hoping to see a tracer of some sort come up behind and be able to take down Boise State's support.
Definitely so Chosen and Bagel, we're looking at you. We're hoping a Tracer comes to get you as affectionately as possible. And it looks like Revan is on that Tracer. Boise State setting up on the point. It looks like Oklahoma's being forced to come to them. That Rig is actually the one that's playing split. Looks like everybody else is rotating onto Oklahoma. The fight, neither team has really committed to a hard fight, but it looks like it's kind of begun. Oklahoma is not yet on the point. Boise State has kept them off, but no eliminations have come out yet for either team. Stun's gonna come out though. Oklahoma just gave them that point. And I mean, it looks like now they're trying to engage. Even 4-1, 0-0 still. It looks like they're losing, and Boise State gonna go first fight. What did they do different that let them win this one?
I think Oklahoma just took too much of their sweet time to get onto the point. I think that the same thing happened like last time where they were trying to plan the fight too long, which did allow them to get their Tracer ult up already early in the fight, or in the match, but that also cost them that first fight, and they need to start picking up their comms and being able to plan those fights.
So are you looking for value on the Tracer?
Yes. I think that this Tracer ult could be huge for Oklahoma, and hopefully get some support.
Not quite. Immortality Field is going to come out, as well as Deadeye, which actually will get the support on the side of Oklahoma. Plato is the prize, but Boise State is now up 2, and it looks like Maxwell's going to burn down that Sigma eventually. It's just going to take a little bit to get through that shield. Almost lose to the Tracer. Boise State resetting. Oklahoma, what ultimates are they looking to charge?
Oklahoma is very close to their visor, and I think if they can take down our or our Diva, because then they can get more switches like that and do a lot of damage. But for now, Boise State has a lot of ultimates already up, and I think they're trying to start to use them this fight.
How does Boise State want to use them?
I think they're going to start with their window and hopefully engage on their defense.
And it looks like just a massive wall. Matt Merck being dropped really, really low there. Defensive beat, defensive trank. Matt Merck, ooh, man, that is tanked down. Maybe they'll be able to, Oklahoma will be able to do something with that. We see the visor come out immediately after that with the answering push going in there. Chosen's going to go down as well. That is Oklahoma winning first fight, just like you talked about. Now, what else do they need to do? Give them the keys to success, Daydream.
I think that their Tracer and Ball need to start communicating more, because they both have their ults and they both have the ability to jump onto Boise State's team here. And if they communicate here really well, they can get a lot of elims in the backline of Boise State and be able to just collapse on their supports perhaps and just roll them.
What do you think of Boise State's approach from the high ground?
I think it's inspirational.
Inspirational, fantastic! Look at what we're going for, an inspirational fight. Opening that Immortality Field is going to go down, as well as Maxwell, which is not as inspirational, especially losing Chosen. Boise State down 1 in the fight, now down 3 still, as Plato's the only one able to get an elimination there. What did Boise State do wrong?
I think coming from the high ground with a Brawl comp is a little hard to do, because your Ryan has to drop from such a high height. You can't shield everybody while he's doing that. And staying together as a Brawl comp is a really big part of why it's so successful. And I think that just that small portion where people aren't covered is hard to count.
It does look like Matt Merck has been split from the rest of the team there. Is going to go down. Boise State still keeping with this high ground. Do you think they should back out of this fight, or no? It looks like they're kind of getting some trades.
It looks like they're trying to build a few ultimates here, like their Lucio, because he is still in there. He is still healing the team up. And yeah, he is coming back now, but he was in there for a very long time trying to heal up the Diva and Baptiste to hopefully maybe gain some ult charge. And we see Matt Merck now going under.
Ooh, Matt Merck being taken very low by Pulse Bomb. Better Matt Merck than a Squishy, though. I mean, Matt Merck staying through it. There's the initiation of the fight. Both tank ultimates. Sound barrier, just like you were talking about, needed to be charged. Last fight, get used there. Chosen and Maxwell still gonna go down, though. This is Boise State's last fight. Is there anything you think they can do? No.
Pass into the iris.
Kel wasn't even able to get there. Oh, you really put Boise State on their back foot here. What do you think the biggest problem was?
I think they kept taking the same rotation,
Ready
and even
for
though they
battle.
did go that low ground that last fight, they already expected them to come from that angle, so they were already prepared and set up for that angle. And I think that their
It looks like
was
now they're trying
pretty
to
good by that plan, was able to
even
stop Boise State on target.
0 to 0. What do you think about Oklahoma's ult usage?
I think it's pretty good. I think there are some things that they could work on, like everybody else, but it's all, the beginning of the season, the qualifiers, and we'll just have to see them get better over time.
Definitely on the setup here. What are you thinking of these comps between the two teams?
I think that they are pretty good. I think Matt Merck on the Reinhardt is a very good pick because he's very aggressive and he can get kills. And against a Sigma, he can run through a shield and just be able to get onto their healers and onto their DPS and just be able to do big damage.
It looks like Boise State is trying to set up on the point first, but Oklahoma has the advantage of the high ground. What does that do for them?
I think Boise State just has to wait this out a little bit for them to drop on the point and then collapse onto it.
It looks like they're doing exactly that, rotating the point right as it unlocks, and not giving Oklahoma the option to get on. That's an unfortunate rip in the chat for that ball there, Quinn. Rest in peace. Raven is also going to go down as the Noble 2 that tried to touch on Oklahoma, but Boise State's still coming for you on the high ground, so maybe your dad's stats aren't as safe as you thought they were. So, you already walked us through the rotations there. What do you think would be a good idea on Oklahoma's next approach?
I think Oklahoma can take a lot of different angles because of their comp here, especially with the ball being really fast. I think if the ball and Tracer stay together or coordinate somewhere where the team isn't, Boise State would be would already be engaged with the core, and those two would be able to come in and
Which, I mean, instead, there's going to be a pick on that Zenyatta there. Do you think low ground is the move there? As this fight is effectively lost with both supports down.
I think that low ground is usually not the option when it comes to Sigma. I think high ground really benefits Sigma, so maybe that wasn't the best play for Oklahoma there.
So you want them to come from that left-hand door on high ground or someplace else?
There are 3 different doors on the high ground, and I think any one of them would have benefited Oklahoma a lot more. Since Sigma has a longer range than Reinhardt, he would have been able to do a lot more poke damage from that.
Looks like they're starting to do that, but Boise State is already set up on the high ground, which makes taking it really, really hard. And that ball is just going to get eliminated as soon as they go in because of that May. That is Boise State up to and pushing into Oklahoma. I think it's safe to call this fight as both supports are down. Do you think that Oklahoma has enough healing for what they're trying to do?
I think they do have enough healing for it. I think their ball just isn't communicating where he is or what he's doing. Because as we saw in that fight, he came into the entire team and died immediately because he just didn't have the support with him. And I think that being able to call out to your team, call out to your team, and going into somebody or doing something is very important.
It looks like as the ball is going in there, there's not the Tracer, but there is the Sigma attempting to do something there as well. With State in overtime, don't have to give up the point just yet. Oklahoma can't even touch. Wow, fantastic job by Boise State. What do you think is the biggest thing that they did correctly on Nepal?
Boise State or Oklahoma?
Boise State, I mean, they're the victors.
Yes, I think Boise State did a really good job transitioning from the high ground to the low ground to point, just because they were able to kind of predict where they were going to come from and be able to set up for that before the engage from Oklahoma.
And it does look like Blueberry is very invested in these Boise State matchups here as we go into control. Do you have any more specific tips that we could get going into hybrid? Do you think it's going to be Kings Row again first, or do you think it's going to be something different?
I think if it was Boise State's choice, it would always be Kings Row because that's just what they love. But we'll just have to see.
And honestly, most other teams love Kings Row, so it's pretty reasonable to assume most of the time that it's going to be Kings Row. Are there any other maps that you'd like to highlight as good options on hybrid?
I think that Numbani is a very solid pick because it is a map that favors the defenders. And I think that it's a good opportunity for people who are trying to get Boise State out of their comfort zone because their comfort zone is Kings Row.
Definitely. And why is Numbani so different?
Numbani has a very long road to the point, and I think that playing Brawl on it, which is BSU's strong suit, can be a very hard, long road, just like it is. And I think that that would force them to play something else, and maybe that would be an advantage for Oklahoma.
Definitely. So, Oklahoma, I mean, there are your win cons right there, brought to you by Daydream. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get right into that game. Or, I mean, maybe not. We're not going to get into that game just yet. A little bit of some issues with cameras there. I mean, perfectly reasonable. So, when you're talking about Boise State versus Oklahoma, Oklahoma is having a lot more success than some other things. What do you think are the biggest keys to that?
I think the biggest keys are communication, and I think that they are able to see where Boise State is coming from or see what comp Boise State is playing and be able to capitalize on those things.
So we were just told that next map is Hollywood. Do you think that's more in Boise State's wheelhouse, or do you think Oklahoma can make them uncomfortable?
I think Oklahoma could make them uncomfortable on this map. It is a double shield map, and I think that that can cause Boise State to be a little bit on their back foot and have to try a little bit harder this map.
Definitely. And what are some of the strategies that Boise State is going to struggle with, you anticipate, on Hollywood?
Being a brawl kind of team, playing farther away and not being as aggressive. Double shield can be harder.
And it does actually look like they are running double shield, so not that brawl comp that we were maybe concerned about. How's the strategy different as these teams poke at each other?
So the strat with double shield here is to just sit behind the shield and shoot. You get a pick.
Hey, look at that! They sat behind the shield, they shot, they got a pick, and now they're kind of going in, but not as far as with Reinhardt there. Sigma and Brig are going to go back behind that wall, and Boise State cannot engage just yet. Zen's just going to walk in the line of fire, and Brig's going to follow that immediately after as well. So it looks like Oklahoma's down. What do you think the Zen Brig is bringing to them?
I think the Zen Brig is a good option because not only is it something that provides a lot of damage, but it also is kind of a crowd control support lineup here because Zen has big damage. Vegeta has the power to push herself in situations and take space.
I do kind of have some concerns, though, because that Brig so far is not actually able to get to Boise State's face before Boise State has gotten picks exactly like that. Brig's not able to get into the fight, but it looks like Boise State's Brig is getting a ton of value against that wall there as we go in. Tracer and Ball can't get out, but at least they're going to die together there to Maxwell and Bagel. Do you think there's anything that needs to be switched up by Oklahoma?
I think Oklahoma has...
Ooh!
Oh. I think Oklahoma could swap off the Brig here for more healing because neither of their healers do a lot of healing, and I think that is what's benefiting Boise State right now is the more amount of healing that they are able to put out.
Definitely, Boise State's doing a lot of damage, and Oklahoma needs to sustain through it in that middle corridor. Lots of spam going through. They can't even peek that. They can't even get through it. That is Boise State up both of Oklahoma supports, and that's just the end of the fight there. With a minute and 47 seconds, do you think Oklahoma has enough time to make something happen?
I think they definitely do if they call out their ult and plan this next fight. They can use this flex here to get a really big advantage in this fight by hopefully getting some support lock in that because the ultimate does a lot of damage.
So Boise State's positioning right now, very different than it has been all map. What do you think it gives them?
I think it gives them a lot more line of sight on their spawn. As you can see here, Plato is playing to be a little bit of the off angle or be a flanker and decide to push up here. So I think this is good for Boise State, or good for Boise State because
it does look like Maxwell is down as well as Matt Hurt. Plato coming in with those eliminations, turning this into an even fight. Both teams down two. Plato still now losing those sidelines, has to readjust themselves. Brig getting healed up. Kel's gonna go down, and it looks like Bagel's gonna go down as well. Do you think that off angle was worth it?
I think the off angle was worth it. I think it could have been big for Boise State to collapse on certain targets. It looked like Oklahoma was just too quick for them that fight, and so they weren't able to get as much value as they would have liked to off of that hatch.
But Boise State still hasn't given up a tick. How did they manage that?
They were able to regroup faster and come back faster. Oklahoma was able to. Oklahoma is still trying to plan their fights pretty slowly here, and
Definitely. That axe is going to get taken down to 2 bars of HP. Oklahoma has no ultimates except for the Tranquility, which is going to come out. Is there anything that you think they'll charge this fight?
I think they will definitely charge them or their buff if they're able to get into those
Absolutely not. It almost looked like it. 70% is really close. Is there a way you think Boise State can take this one fight?
I think if they are able to be aggressive
Score.
this fight and be able to
0
get picks
to 0.
early,
Switching sides.
What picks are they specifically looking for early fight?
Any healers
Initiating
or maybe a tank
match.
even could spell something really huge for Boise State.
Ooh, tank picks. That's always interesting.
Since Double Shield is so reliant on those tanks and those shields, it can be huge for them to just get a pick on a tank quickly, and then they only have that one shield for the whole team, and they can't off-angle like the comp is kind of made for.
So do you think Boise State will switch up any heroes on attack?
I'm hoping that they'll go like a brawl and be very aggressive
Ready
here
for
and just be
battle.
able to take the point with ease, but it looks like they aren't.
It looks like they're running the double shield. Now, are there any drawbacks to running double shield on attack, Holly?
Double shield is very slow comp. It's not something that
Attackers
run
incoming
with
in
you
30 seconds.
they're playing very good. And so I think
Just play good. Fast
Yeah.
double shield.
Yep. So I think that if they're playing the double shield here, they're looking for those early picks or looking for a slow fight.
So this could very well end up being one of our last maps of the night. Are there any specific players you want to look at, maybe for player of the game, which we'll be doing after this?
I think always people look at the
one.
DPS for player of the game,
Attackers
but Matt Mark
incoming.
has been putting in a lot of work
Defend
this game and putting in a lot of damage and just being there for his team, or even not there for his team, just, you know, in the middle of their team.
In the middle of the enemy, being there for the enemy
Yes.
team.
Yes, he is so supportive that he is there for the enemy team.
So Oklahoma is now giving up the high ground. What do you think that takes from them?
I think it definitely takes a lot of their sidelines here and they get far, and I think that is something that they need to think about, or maybe do an off angle on the high ground, because both of their tanks are currently stuck right now, and if they put one on the high ground, they could have the potential to do more damage here.
It does look like Boise State is down one in this fight, but still not leaving. No, Kel's just gonna drop. Matt Merck has already respawned after getting eliminated first. That was a long first fight, but Boise State's gonna take it. And just like you were talking about, who's in the kill feed?
Victory.
Matt Merck on ball, absolutely. We love to see it. And it does look like Boise State is just gonna be 3 for 3 so far in our NACE qualifiers. And honestly, we are thrilled here at Arena at that. Boise State has not dropped a single map. They dropped a little bit of percentage. What do you think? Do you have final thoughts on the biggest thing that worked for them tonight before we talk player of the game?
I think the biggest thing that's working for them tonight is their team play. They've been playing together a ton the past few months, and I think that that's really helping them, doing tons of scrims, just being in the arena together after a few years of not being in the arena. And I think that that is playing hugely in their advantage right now.
Great. And so you were talking about Matt Merck. I mean, do you want to tell us more about how awesome Matt Merck is, or are there other players you'd like to highlight?
I think everybody is putting in a lot of work on
Definitely.
the team, even especially Chosen with the Baptiste plays with his immortality fields. I think they are very good, and I think that he has saved the team plenty of times with those. So both of those players, I think, are definitely in the running for the player of the game, and I'm excited to see who it is.
If you had to pick one before we get to player.
I am definitely biased for support players.
Oh, obviously. You are the legendary Daydream. And it does look like so far, it looks like it's going to go ahead and beat Plato. So, I mean, we're just completely off on the discussion, but I think it is important to highlight other members of Boise State. However, Plato, always there with the eliminations, especially on that Symmetra, doing a fantastic job on Nepal. It kind of felt sometimes like there was nothing anybody could do against Plato's Symmetra, which really embodies the player of the game. And the player of the game is brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like Idaho Central's helping members achieve financial success. Plato is the Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game, who we also saw flex a little bit to tank.
Yeah, he did play really good Reinhardt those first 2 maps, I believe, and he was able to get picks and get in the team and just be aggressive, and that's what we like to see from our Reinhardt mains.
As somebody who's super familiar with all the players, what do you think Plato's biggest strength is?
I think his biggest strength is his mental. He is a very positive player, and he is able to get the team back together and just be a positive force in comms and out of comms.
So he really embodies the ICCU player. I mean, he's just elevating everybody to that level, to Miss Blueberry's level there on the camera. And as we get set up to close this stream for the night, we do still have our top 5 plays, and the top 5 plays are presented to you by the Idaho Army National Guard. But before we get into that, do you have any final takeaways?
I think my final takeaways are just that I'm super excited to see Boise State in the finals of NACE in October, and I can't wait to hopefully be a part of the team next year or the year after.
And we love having you here casting. We love having you around the players. So we'll be super excited once you decide to join the Boise State roster, if that is what is best for you. But what's best for Boise State right now is the Idaho Army National Guard. And they present our top 5 plays, and they invite you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. With more than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for, the Idaho Army National Guard is the best team out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. And from all of us here at Boise State Esports, it's been a great night. Be sure to join us next time. Because they have a little bit. Nope, they're going to back up. They see those members have respawned. What does Mississippi State need to do to break this Boise State hold?
Maybe taking another angle or another rotation would benefit them here. Is farther back. They could have taken
Ooh, and then it looks like 3 members of the There's the window, just like you were talking about. No picks withstanding right now. Boise State has managed not to peek that. We see a Deadeye come from the high ground into the enemy team. Shatter is going to whip on the side of Boise State. Deadeye's going to get back east, though. That is your main healer now. Now down
60 seconds.
Down so many, so quickly. Anybody. And it does, as we do see balls on both sides. Matt Burke and Quinn will be looking for self-destruct. Bagel is going to go down. Boise State down 1, actually down 2. First fight. For the first time, it looks like Oklahoma has actually put us on our back foot here, winning first fight. Wow, this is a really unique position. Tell me about it.
it's kind of hindering them.
So we definitely need to see some aggressive ult. Right, there it is. There's that ultimate. Hopefully Boise State, they have the amplification matrix down in this fight. That's a Reinhardt down. And the Junkrat ult is not going to be able to get any ultimate value. That is Boise State. 5 now? James?
So that they're able to collapse on
Let's see, we have the riveting Lucio 1v1 in the corner. The Bagel is winning.